What's going on, everyone? So, I talked about Anna Camp recently and how there is a potential that maybe she could be Leslie Mocker, right? Make a lot of sense. She could have had this plan, this scheme on just the situation, given that, like, hey, my son died, my brother died, and it's all because of you and your mother, right? If you weren't around, I would have my family, and maybe, that just sent her off the rails. But I think with the Leslie Mocker thing, time is very important, right? Because if she's been living there for 10 years, well, then it kind of, throws a wrench in everything. If it's something where she's been living there for, 3, then okay, the timeline kind of adds up. And it's like, okay, well, maybe she moved there to enact her revenge, kind of built up. You need a motive and reason, right? Unless she's been there for 6 months, right? Like, but then why would Sydney be best friends with her? Why would, yes, she might be neighborly, she might be hello, but according to Anna Camp, they're like besties, right? Like twinsies type thing, right? Like, cool, okay, right? But to me, I think that there needs to be a greater motivation if they go that route. Now, look, it's very possible that they don't go the killer route or anything like that. Maybe she dies. Maybe she's one of the heroes. Who knows? We'll see. But another alternative that, of course, we got to talk about with Anna Camp is the potential for her to be Christina Carpenter, right? Now, Christina Carpenter, I think you can even make an argument, makes even more sense, right? There was a lot of talk that Christina Carpenter was supposed to be the killer in Scream 7 before, Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega departed, right? That they were going to have her kind of full circle comeback type thing, which very well could have been a possibility. But now you don't have the Carpenter sisters in the film, you could still do the mother, right? You had the Carpenter sisters in the films and you didn't have the mother. We never saw the mother. We never got to know what the mother looked like or anything like that. And, you could have something where, she just goes off the rails. Bad mother, cheated on the father of the kids, right? And, deep dark secret, story from Scream 5, yeah. Where, she found the journal and blah, 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 right? Like, family disowned him, right? Melissa Barrera's character, Sam, went off the rails after she saw the journal. Dad leaves, all of that, right? So she could look at it as like, because of you and Billy, you guys ruined my family, right? Like, and Billy's dead, I can't go after Billy, so I'm going after you type thing. And you'd have this like inherent motive and stuff. And again, like, okay, well then why wait all this time? Well, I mean, you can make the story be about Sam and Tara, right? Sam and Tara go off to New York, disown the mother. Maybe she tried a couple times to try to get back into the swing of things with her kids. It didn't work out, right? Why are the Meeks twins departed? Maybe they all tried to go rekindle something with the mother. It didn't work, and the Carpenter sisters, said peace out, and she lost her kids again. She hasn't heard her kids since, and she snaps and moves in and concocts this plan, right? Now, the problem is the biggest, like, because again, I always try to talk about the pros and cons and, the things about it. So Anna Camp's character is supposed to have a son, and the son is supposed to be a little weird, a little off, all that stuff, right? So the biggest question would be like, okay, like, so why didn't we hear about the son? Okay, well, why didn't we hear about Sydney's children in the past? Why didn't we hear about Sydney's husband in the past? Like, why didn't we hear about Leslie Mocker in the past? Christina Carpenter in the past? Like, who's Sam and Tara's dad, right? Like, again, to just like throw in a wrench of like, oh, Sam and Tara had a brother, right? Like, honestly, I don't think that would surprise anybody. Like, I don't think that'd be something where it's like, oh, well, that's a little odd, right? Like, everyone would be like, okay, that kind of fits what they've done recently, where they just keep introducing these random characters and stuff. And who's to say it's really her kid, right? Like, what if he is like one of the cult leaders or whatever, right? Or one of the cult members or whatever, and got, Christina Carpenter's involved, right? And kind of, manipulated her to like, hey, like we could, you team up with us, we can do this. And, there's a million ways you can kind of circumvent the son route, not really be your son, right? Depending on the age, right? If he's like 14 or 15 or 16 or something like that, then yeah, I don't think you could really go the other route. Although look at, Richie and Amber, but like, I think that there is, like, if he's like, 23 or something like that, 24, right? There could be, maybe they're in a secret relationship type thing. And it's really not. It's like, wow, okay, that's not your son, right? Like, that's your lover or whatever, right? Like, type thing. Wouldn't be the first time films and things like that have done that, right? But nonetheless, I don't think like that would be that big of a hurdle to overcome, right? I don't think that'd be like, that's something where it's like, oh man, like that'd never be believed. Like, again, they have convoluted this whole thing so much already, with Sydney having 3 children and a husband, and you have the Carpenter sisters now, and like what's up with them. And I think it could be a way to kind of explain, Sam and Tara, right? Where they've been, what happened, why is this happening? Kind of have the full circle tie in with the previous 2 films into this film with Sydney and whatnot. Have Christina Carpenter. She built this plan of like, I'm going to move in next to Sydney. Me and her are going to be besties, right? And another thing you might ask is like, okay, well, wouldn't Sydney recognize her, right? Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, look at, Scream 3 with Angeline, right? Like, she was like, I sat next to you in what was it, history class or whatever it was, right? Like, she didn't recognize her. Or Judy. No, it was Judy. There we go. That's who it was. It was Judy that was like, I sat next to you type thing. There we go. That's what it was. I knew that there was some character that happened to, and she just didn't recognize her at all, right? So, that could be similar thing. Again, like, yes, a small town, everyone's supposed to know everybody, but like, unless you're seeing these people regularly hanging out, like Mrs. Loomis made sense because she hung out with Billy. She was Billy's girlfriend. They were probably at his house all the time and, meeting her and whatnot and all that stuff. So, and she's probably old enough at that point to where, fast forward, whatever it is, 5 years, right? There's probably not that much of a significance, right? But now you're talking like 30 years or 20 years or whatever, or however long it's been, right? Like that is a huge, like, people look very different when they were 15 compared to when they're 50. So I do think you can kind of circumvent that and kind of make that make sense if you wanted to, right? You could kind of make the story fit if you needed to. I do think the Leslie Mocker thing makes more sense. I do think the Leslie Mocker thing fits better. But again, I do think you could go with the Christina Carpenter route if you wanted to, if that's the route and approach that they wanted to go. I mean, they could just make her be whatever character Anna Camp is and just kind of, have no tie-ins with the past films, right? That's another option. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.